Well, I'd like to welcome Tony Gale to boylesports.com. You're on your own this week, Tony, but you're coming off the back of a fantastic tipping service. West Ham 12-5 away at the Stadium of Light. You must feel very good.
Yeah, it was a funny victory, really, Leon. It could have gone either way, couldn't it? There was obviously a penalty claim for Sunderland in the game, and then there was a sending off. James Collins was involved in both instances, but you know, it's a very, very difficult Premier League to predict at the moment, and it must be a nightmare for you sorting these odds out with the bookies.
Yeah, well, it is tough enough, but we got a great week last week. None of the big four winning is always music to every bookmaker's ears. Just quickly on Sunderland again, Tony. They're at home now against Bolton this weekend. I think it's a must-win game because they've dropped enough points at home already against teams in and around them. And if you want to stay in this league, you've got to beat the teams, especially at home. They're 11-10 to beat Bolton. Can they do it?
Well, Bolton are coming off a good run at the moment, and Gary Megson sort of lifted Bolton, just you know, up to that top half, you know, in and around that. It's amazing what 2 or 3 wins on the spin can do for you. Sunderland need that type of run now. You know, they're coming unstuck against West Ham, which we've spoken about, but it's very difficult to predict how a game's going. And when you've just lost a game at home, it's very difficult to go back in front of your home supporters. And if the first 20 minutes doesn't go right for Sunderland, then all of a sudden Bolton will get that little bit more about them that they feel they can get the away win. It's another tough one for Sunderland. If I was going anywhere on this one, it'd have to be on the draw.
Okay, you're going for a draw at the Stadium of Light. We're going to have a look at the big 2 games of the weekend, Tony. The Manchester derby first up. City on the back of a great win against Arsenal, 3-0 at home. United stuttered and a bit of stammering at Aston Villa, 0-0. Rooney missed a chance from 4 yards. He probably should have done better. But this one is going to, I think, be a very attractive game of football to watch. I don't think City will try and frustrate United. They're the home team. They've got plenty of flair and attacking skill in their side. But I know you fancy an away win here.
I do, because I think City will come at United, and I don't think the likes of Robinho won't have a clue what a Manchester derby's all about. I'm sure he's played in big derby games all around the world.
Even when Mark Hughes is the manager, surely he's going to be in his ear telling him what it's about.
We'll be giving him some. Yeah, this is really important, and usually up against his old boss as well, the real governor, Sir Alex. But for me, this game's going to suit Manchester United, because City will come at them. You're right. It should be an open game of football, and if it's an open game of football, you'd have to tip United, wouldn't you? Although City have got special players, the likes of Robinho, the likes of Sean Wright-Phillips, and Stephen Ireland, who's been in excellent form, getting, you know, good goals from midfield, coming in late, you know, and joining those strikers. You'd have to fancy Ronaldo, Rooney, you know, I don't know if Berbatov is fit, but Tevez, you know, you'd have to fancy them in an open game of football.
So you're going for the away win. That's 11-10 on. The other big game on Sunday, of course, is Chelsea at home against Arsenal. We all know about Arsenal's problems. William Gallas, hopefully he'll keep his toys in the pram this week before he goes back to Stamford Bridge. But Chelsea, their home record is almost impeccable. 1 blotch against Liverpool when they lost 1-0. I think it was 90 games before that they were beaten at Stamford Bridge. Can Arsenal realistically expect to go to Stamford Bridge and maybe just nick a point?
Well, their last game against one of the big 4, or the other big 3 if you like, was against Manchester United. But Manchester United kind of played into the Arsenal youngsters' hand, and they played this playground football that Sir Alex described the game as, an open game of football. Chelsea are more disciplined than that. Sure, they've got a more expansive game than what they used to have, but they are more disciplined, and at home I think they can rough the Gunners up, get into them and get the victory that they need really to sustain that push that they are having for the Premier League title. I can't see Arsenal really having a push, being 10 points behind now, because if you're talking about one team slipping up, yeah, there may be a chance, but not all 3 above them, of the other big 3, sorry. So for me, it'd be a Chelsea win at the Bridge, and Arsenal looking just to qualify for Champions League football after it.
So Chelsea 11-8 on. You're going for the home win at Stamford Bridge. Quickly, if I can just ask you about the World Cup. I know you're a big fan of England, of course you are, you're from England, but you really feel under this guy Capello that they finally have the missing piece of the jigsaw. At 9-1, could I tempt you to give me your money and back England?
Yes, you can have a few quid. Yeah, I mean, Leon, listen, again, like the Premier League, the World Cup will be so close, you know. Brazil will obviously start off favourites with it, but the European Challenge, Spain and England, I think, have got to be the best bets. For me, England, they've always had the players, but they've never had the manager recently for big tournaments. This guy will not be afraid of making decisions. You know, he will not be afraid of leaving key players out, changing formations for certain games. He will make the decisions and they will play the way he wants to play instead of the way they want to play.
Well, Tony, for this week, thank you very much. And just before we go, I'm going for a home double. Wigan at 8-11, Fulham at 4-6. Aston Villa to beat Fulham at 4-6. Pays just about 15-8. That's for me.